CIFS Acceleration Configuration. CIFS is the Windows service that used to share files across the intranet and the internet. CIFS defines a series of commands to pass information between the network devices. Each device will establish a connection with their neighbor through the port 445. So user can simply get access to the file at the server to read and write for them. In this topology, user can see the WANO was being deployed as a bridge mode. The client under the branch WANO hope to access the file at the CIFS server, and the CIFS server is located under the HQ network. Client hope the fastest transfer speed between the PC and the CIFS server. That's why we need to create a CIFS acceleration in the between of the both WANO. WANO will keep the cache of each file transfer and greatly reduce the transfer time need for it. There will be several steps must be configured at the WANO to accelerate the CIFS traffic. Firstly, user have to configure the HQ WANO and create the policy group and user information being used in the connection. Select what kind of the policy user would like to accelerate in the network environment, such as CIFS. Before enable the CIFS application policy, we must configure the HQ WANO, same domain with the server, and also create the user with the delegation privilege in the server. Then we only can enable the CIFS application policy. After all, we have to build branch WANO that pair with the HQ. In the end, I can conclude the branch user PC can access the file at the server with the fastest transfer speed. We can start to configure the HQ WANO for CIFS acceleration. In the first step, we log into the HQ devices and add those necessary policy for it. We can create a new policy by clicking the WAN optimization and the network tab in the below. User can see there will be a list of policy that include the CIFS acceleration as well. Following the step, we can create a new user account for a branch WANO with the connection purpose. In here, I will create a new user and rename it as a branch. At the same time, I also assign it a password 1234 and WOC as the client type. After all, we can create a new policy group that group the policy and user together. In this breaker, we will only select the predefined speed up CIFS policy with the port number 445 and 139. Next, I select the branch that was added in the previous step and click OK to save the configuration above. We can move to the next step now. Before this, I would like to show you the interface of the CIFS application policy. By default, it was being disabled and need user to activate it by taking this option. User can take the 139 port option if your CIFS is running on this port. In below, there will be two different versions of the SMP protocol being used in the information transfer. In here, we should enable a SMB signing with the delegation mode for higher security. However, we need to join the HQ WANO same domain with the server and create a delegation user. Otherwise, the system will prompt error and request us to configure for it. We can redirect to another page window domain over here. User can find this is under the System and Network tab. You may not know the exact way to configure this, You can refer the configuration manual beside that, and I will repeat the step to configure the Windows domain, same with the manual. Now we remove to the CIFS server. I can refer all of this information from the CIFS server. In this server, user can find the full computer name and the domain name of this particular server. And this server is the address of 172.117.1.9, where the Wano DNS server point to. Now, we can fill in the information collected with the domain name sf.com and the domain controller, same with the computer name. For the username and the password, we can enter an account inside the domain. I will choose administration account and password. Click join for it. Wait for a while, and the Wano will enter the same domain with the server. As you can see it in domain with the sf.com. Next, we need to add a user account in the Wano with the delegation privilege. Then we remove back to the same server again. Click start, administration station tools, and the Active Directory user and computer. Click for it. We can see the last column of the sf.com is the user tab, and we can create a new user over here. Right click, new, and choose for the user. Rename it as a CIFS, and also user login name for this sf.com domain. Click next, and it will prompt for the password. Because it is a fixed account for the CIFS acceleration, I will force user cannot change the account password and will never expire. Finish, and the new user will be added in the list. You can click on the properties and look for the attribute inside. User will not find the delegation available and it required to enter special command to review it. So I open command prompt and enter the set SPM command for it. And enter the account name at the last field. Wait for the command finish executed. After the object updated, now only the delegation will appear and we can make change for it. In here, we will select the option trust this user to delegation and use any of the authentication protocol. After all, you can add a new service for it. By select the ES2010 as a user and computer. Add the CIFS service available and save for it. OK to save for it. Now this user account have the privilege to make delegation for the Wano. We can get back to the HQ Wano and enter the account information for it. Click new to add the new user account. Enter the domain for it. And we also have to remember to enter the username and password. And make it as a mirror. Save and apply. After all, we can enable the application proxy for the CIFS. Enable the CIFS proxy and taking the same option and also the delegation mode. After all, save for it. Now, the error message will no longer appear anymore. In the last step for the configuration, we have to establish the connection in the branch WANO. We need to access the WAN optimization and the item client. And click New to establish the new connection to the HQ. And give it a name, branch connection. Enter the account name and the 1234 password we created in the HQ unit. And also point to the IP address of the HQ WANO 172.17.1.4. Left high speed TCP as a default. And left the remaining option as a default, which is enable the acceleration and the reverse acceleration. Now, we have to ensure the connection status in both sides is enabled, and that is the connection status in the below. Now, I will do a simple test to show how the CIFS acceleration works. In here, I need to notice the user again. You have to ensure the connection status is being enabled, and also it's connected to the another side of a WANO. Now get start for it. In here you can see there is no data available. So we remove the another PC which is under the branch WANO. And also I use this PC to access the HQ CIFS server, which is the 172.17.1.9, and simply drag a file to the desktop and copy for it. So we can observe the acceleration status by keep refreshing. You can see the files is transferring and the data is keep increasing. After the files being transferred, you can see the reduction rate over here is around 16%. For the first acceleration, it is quite low. So we do another texting for it. Delete the file and transfer again. And go back to the WANO and observe the acceleration result. This time, this file is transferring quite fast and the reduction rate is increased until the 57%. Now we did the last transfer of the file. And get back to the WANO and observe the result again. This time the file is being transferred very fast and the reduction rate can reach until the 70%. This is a acceleration effect of the CIFS server. So that's all for my tutorial.